Good evening. I'd like to call the regular monthly meeting to order. Would everyone please rise for the prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance?
Dear Heavenly Father, we call upon you this evening, asking for your guidance in our decision-making. Give us the wisdom to make our judgments based on the best interest of this community and the children we serve. These things we ask in your name. Amen.
Ms. Lemoyne, would you lead us in the pledge, please?
Yes. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please, Ms. Voce.
Mr. Campbell?
Here.
Ms. Harris?
Here.
Ms. Jackson?
Here.
Ms. Lee Bowman is not with us. Mr. Long?
Here.
Ms. Lemoyne?
Here.
Ms. Dysart?
Here.
Ms. Rodney?
Here.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Here.
Mr. Warner? And Ms. White.
Thank you, Ms. Voce. Before we go to the first item on the agenda, I'd like to take a point of privilege at this time to recognize and have a moment of silence for Miss Lynette Wise, who is a former teacher at Chalmette High School for many, many years. And in fact, I understand Miss Voce worked under Miss Wise. And when I was in high school, I remember Miss Wise. She was a wonderful person and a very strong educator. And on top of educating many, many students in St. Bernard Parish, she was also a cheerleader sponsor and was beloved by many. So if we would take a moment of silence for Miss Wise. Thank you. Ms. Voce.
Yeah, I just want to echo that. Lynette Wise was sort of an institution in the math department at Chalmette High School many, many years ago. I did my student teaching under her, and then we became very, very good friends. Back then in the 1970s and early 80s, we had 1,700 boys at Chalmette High School, and it was before we had all this technology. So Mr. Warner would set a master schedule there. Miss Wise and I scheduled 1,700 plus boys by hand constantly. So all these people that are plugging it into computers and all nowadays, I know what it's like under her to actually sit there and do the work that took not only hours but days and weeks in scheduling a school of that size. So she gave her life to those students at Chalmette High School, and even after she retired, she would come in and help and take, if a teacher was going on a leave time or whatever, come and take those classes. So this community owes her a great debt of gratitude for the work that she did in her many years of teaching with us. So.
Thank you so much, Ms. Voce, and our deepest sympathies go out to her entire family. Okay, also I'd like to take a point of privilege at this time to recognize and to say we're very prayerful for, I know our whole community, and I understand it was on the news tonight, knows about the assault that was had on our precious and beloved Mr. Wayne Warner at Chalmette High School's, it wasn't at Chalmette High School, but he is the high school principal and has been there for over 50 years. And so we want to wish Mr. Warner a speedy rehabilitation and recovery, and to let the Warner family know that he will be in all of our prayers. So a moment of silence for Mr. Wayne Warner, who we love. Thank you. And we know Mr. Warner will be wanting to come back as soon as he can.
And I spoke with both Mr. Warner and his wife earlier today, and as we speak, he is in surgery right now. Just to give an update, he did not go into surgery until mid-afternoon, so he's currently in surgery to deal with a broken hip and a broken elbow as a result of his injuries. But he's in really good spirits, and he will do everything in his power to be ready. He's just beside himself thinking about the beginning of school and what he has to do, whether it'll be from his hospital bed or at the school itself. So we're continuing to pray for him, and he is currently undergoing surgery. Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Voce, for that update. Okay. First item on the agenda is a presentation of proclamations to Chalmette High School valedictorians by Representative Mike Baham. Good evening. So glad you're with us tonight, Representative Baham.
Good evening. Happy, this is the second time I've visited since my swearing in January, and I'm always happy to be here. And I'd like to preface the presentation with some comments. We had a very special educational opportunity with a very narrow window that manifested, and this was something very important, and Superintendent Voce was critical in making sure that we were able to get this facilitated, and she went above and beyond the role of any superintendent, in my opinion, in Louisiana. In fact, a lot of my colleagues, while I was on the floor managing with this, they were impressed that I was on the phone with the superintendent. Said, I can't get my superintendent to return my calls. How are you doing this? I mean, she must be impressed with your title. I said, no, it has nothing to do with me. It's about the kid. You know, that's where our heart is, and she did this, and I personally am appreciative of you going above and beyond your position as superintendent to ensure that we had this opportunity benefited a student in our community. So thank you, Ms. Voce, for your engagement on this very important matter. So moving along.
Well, let me just say this at the risk of, this love fest that we're having, Mike here. No, Mike has been extremely responsive with everything. While he's been in Baton Rouge, he's accessible by phone at any time. He will do everything in his power. We don't always agree on everything, but that's part of living and part of life. But he has been responsive and cooperative and willing to work with us and do what we feel is in the best interest of our children in the community. So we do want to thank you for that, Representative Bagan.
Thank you.
Okay.
So at this time, what I'd like to do is we have these proclamations to recognize all of our outstanding scholars at Chalmette High, and I wanted to do something special for these students as they continue their studies in other parts of the state and in some cases other parts of the country. I think we even have an Ivy League graduate student, and I was going through the impressive resumes. So what I wanted to do was we had these resolutions adopted. These are actually filed with the Secretary of State. You can go online and see it. So it's part of the official record of the State of Louisiana legislative session. So I wanted to provide this recognition so these students can take this with them no matter where they go, to know that they are recognized and appreciated by our community and that they are representatives of our parish, and we wish them the best of success in their future achievements. So at this time, I'm going to call up the names of the valedictorians if they're here. First is Katie Lynn, and please forgive me with the pronunciations, Hambreese.
And if y'all would, please come around. I think all the board members would like to congratulate you too.
Okay. Next up is Alex Catherine Jorns, or is it Yorns? There you go. Congratulations. Best of success. Okay, now this is a name I can get right. Kylie Reese Bordelon.
Congratulations. Good to see you again.
Kylie. Congratulations. Okay. Next up, we have Selena Lee. By the way, I will not be the master of ceremonies at the next graduation for Chalmette High. Lee, okay. Congratulations. Okay. Next up, we have Gabrielle Lynn Thor. Gabrielle. Congratulations. Congratulations. Best of success. And next we have, I believe, a future rocket science engineer, Elmi Antonio Gonzalez. Next we have Peyton Elizabeth Sheeler. Okay. And then we have Summer Tran. Whoops. Congratulations. Best of luck. So, and I believe we are missing one of our valedictorians, but we have provided that proclamation to the administration to be handed out at a later date. So thank you all for this opportunity to allow me to recognize our scholars, and I wish all of our young scholars, whether valedictorians and otherwise, the best success representing our community on college campuses around the country. Thank you.
Representative Bayham. Representative Bayham, on behalf of the entire board, we want to thank you for coming tonight and recognizing all of our wonderful scholarship recipients, valedictorians. We were so proud of each and every one of them at the graduation ceremony. They each had to do a speech at graduation, and they were wonderful. They were wonderful. And so we thank you for being here for the second time since you took office. We do appreciate your communication, and you know, we look forward to many more communications with you. And congratulations again to all of our valedictorians. We're so very proud of you, and we wish you the best of luck in your future academic and in your lives. You make us proud, and you represent St. Bernard Parish so well. So thank you, Representative Bayham, and thank you, scholars. And we're going to take a picture. And we're going to recess for just a couple minutes to take a picture.
Why don't y'all come, have them come. Yeah, get Kelly.
Yeah.
We're going to ask Ms. Watson, who is the assistant principal at Chalmette High School. We're going to ask each one of our valedictorians to just say their name, where they're going to school, and what they're studying. And I do know that we have one young lady who could not be with us tonight. Could you tell us who she is and what you know about her?
So Tania White, she is going to Tulane University on a Posse scholarship, and I do not know what she is planning to study, but yes, she is going to Tulane University, as well as Elmi.
Elmi, okay.
Hello, my name's Elmi Gonzalez. I'll be attending Tulane University in the fall with the Legislative Scholars Program scholarship, so I'm very grateful for that. I'm going to be majoring in engineering physics with a minor in mechanical engineering.
Wonderful.
Hi, I'm Kylie Bordelon, and I'm going to Auburn University, and I will be studying animal science on a pre-veterinary track.
Oh.
Hello, I'm Alex Jorns. I'll be going to the University of Alabama to study data science.
Hi, I'm Katie Hambryce. I'm going to be going to the University of Louisiana at Lafayette, and I'm going to be studying biology on a pre-med track.
Hi, I'm Gabrielle Thor. I'm going to be going to the University of Louisiana at Monroe, and I'm going to be studying radiology technology.
Hi, I'm Peyton Sheeler. I'm going to Case Western Reserve University in Cleveland on a Posse scholarship, and I'm studying psychology on a pre-med track. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Selena. I'm going to Dartmouth College, and I'm going to be studying biomedical engineering on the pre-med track.
Hi, I'm Summer Tran, and I will be going to Xavier University studying biology on the pre-dentistry track.
Again, congratulations to all of our valedictorians. We're so very proud of you. And Ms. Watson, thank you for being here tonight, and congratulations to all the Chalmette High School staff who helped educate these wonderful students. And good luck to you all, and it's so good to see so many of y'all in the science field, in the medical field. We're going to need y'all. Thank you. Thank you so much.
I'm going to need you sooner than we think, so please study quickly, okay?
And again, congratulations to the parents. What a wonderful accomplishment. Congratulations to all, and thank you for being with us tonight. Okay. Next item on the agenda is a presentation of proclamations to the NP Trist Middle School Junior Beta National Team. Good evening.
Good afternoon, how are you? Good evening, rather. All I have to say is that just warmed my heart because of those valedictorians. Once again, I'll need some of those doctors as well, but many of them came from Trist, so that does warm my heart to see them. So I applaud them as well. Miss Daly, the sponsor, could not be here tonight. She is the sponsor of our Beta Club. She is on location with her son, who was casted in a movie. So they are both not able to be here, but she asked me to speak on her behalf. This year, Trist brought 70 students to Louisiana State Junior Beta Convention in Lafayette to compete against 11,000 betas from across the state. This is the largest convention in the country. Trist was represented in over 40 different competitions, and we were honored to take home awards for 6th grade ELA, 6th grade math, and the grand champion title for robotics. The students who placed in the top 5 at the state level qualified for their same competitions categories at the national level. We were represented by Briley Blackwell for 6th grade ELA, Jack McMullen for 6th grade math. For robotics, we were represented by Caden Bryan, Colton Bourgeois, Rami Daly, Preston Sinez, Wyatt Scully, and Bryce Watson. While at the national convention, we also competed in some categories that were national exhibits only. Briley Blackwell, Colton Bourgeois, Preston Sinez, and Bryce Watson represented us for Meeting of the Minds. Caden Bryan, Rami Daly, Jack McMullen, and Wyatt Scully represented Trist and Convention Invention. Miss Daly, who could not be here tonight due to her family obligations, would like to extend her gratitude for our robotics team sponsors. We appreciate the generous donations from the Muro Foundation and Chalmette Refining, which allowed these students to be able to experience competition at the national level. We came home as 3rd place winners in Convention Invention and 2nd place winners in robotics. That's in the nation.
Wow.
We are so proud of these students, and we cannot wait to see them grow as Beta members in their 7th and 8th grade years. In addition, I, as the principal, would like to also say a big thank you to our former sponsors, Ms. Capstick and Ms. Abity, for re-energizing our Beta Club and setting the bar of our students entering the competitions over the last several years. I also would like to thank Ms. Daly for assuming this sponsorship over the last 2 years, along with Mr. Felix Caserta and Ms. Gabrielle Smith, who has also assisted during the many practices of all the competitions at the state level. To the national betas, thank you for your endless hours of practicing on the weekends, as well as in the evening and during the summer, so that you could make us very visible at this national convention. I'm very proud of you. Thank you. So at this time, we do have our school board proclamations. I'm going to have the students come up and receive their proclamations. Briley Blackwell for a meeting of the minds in 6th grade ELA. Second place, robotics and meeting of the minds for Bryce Watson.
Congratulations.
Caden Bryan for second place, robotics. Third place, convention invention and club pin design. Colton Bourgeois for second place, robotics and meeting of the minds. Wyatt Scully, second place, robotics. Third place, convention invention. Preston Sinez, second place, robotics and meeting of the minds. Jack McMullen, third place, convention invention and 6th grade math.
Congratulations.
And although Rami Dolly's not here, I would like to acknowledge him as well. Rami Dolly, second place, robotics. Third place, convention invention. And Miss Shireen Dally, second place, robotics. Third place, convention invention, meeting of the minds, and club pin design. So I do want to take this time also to thank the school board and Ms. Voce for allowing our students to make these competitions available to them and able to participate. Our kids always look very forward to going to Lafayette. And if you've never been, I had to fill in for Ms. Capstick a few years ago, and if you've never been, if you really want to feel good about what the youth in our state is doing, go see one of these conventions, because it will really blow your mind what our students in our state are capable of doing. So thank you.
I guess we're going to take another picture.
Yes. Students, Ms. Colburn, on behalf of the entire board, we want to congratulate you. We are so proud of you, and we know that this takes a lot of extra time to practice and study. And so we appreciate your continuing your achievements on your own time, and we want to congratulate you and say keep up the great work, and we're very, very proud of you. And to the parents, are there any parents in the audience? If you would please stand, we would like to congratulate you also. Again, we know it takes a lot of time and effort on your part also. And to Ms. Colburn and to all of the educators, not only at Trist, but at Trist and the elementary schools who start forming these young students to achieve to their best ability, and then go on to high school and become valedictorians and, you know, can accomplish wonderful things. We thank you for all of y'all's hard work, and to all the sponsors who work so hard, you know, with these scholars. And again, we're very, very proud of you. I mean, to be national champions out of 70, you said, how many students total? 72 teams? No, you brought 72 people.
We brought 70 students to Lafayette, but there were 11,000 students there.
That's quite a number.
And then I'm not really sure how many competed in Savannah and how many were present in Savannah. But do any of our parents know how many people were in? How many people were competing?
Actually,
at the? Right.
Right. The winners from each state
The winner
actually
from each
compete.
state.
Actually, Louisiana has the largest junior beta convention in the country with those 11,000 students. And I was involved with Beta beginning in 1976 as a sponsor and a state sponsor and on the council. And it has continued to grow. And you're right, Ms. Coburn, if you've never been to one of those conventions to see these kids compete, it's quite a, just think of 11,000 11, 12, 13, and 14-year-olds in one big arena and breaking off into different competitions and having night activities as well. So it's a major accomplishment, and our teachers are just incredible to be able to work with these young people, to organize it, and our kids have represented us so well. And what we look for, too, anytime we send groups of children anywhere, that the competition is important, and we want to win, and we want to do well, but we want to make sure that our kids represent themselves, their families, our school system, and our community in an excellent manner. And all of these kids just meet that criteria and exceed it each and every day. So we're very thankful to them and to their parents, because those are the people who have formed the values within their children that have made all this possible. So.
And just stop by any afternoon from mid-November through February, and you're more than welcome to lend a hand with any of those practicing. Because it's like having about, 70 kids in all different directions doing different things for state. So, but thank y'all very much.
Thank you, Ms. Coburn, again. And if you would, Ms. Coburn, and students, if y'all would, we're going to take a picture of you.
We could kind of gather
please.
here if they just.
Next item on the agenda. We'll wait a couple minutes till they kind of. Okay. Next item on the agenda is a request to appear the New Orleans Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta. Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. St. Bernard Parish School Board members and all present. I am Valencia Bro, President of the New Orleans Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, a local chapter with a membership of over 700 African American women representing Orleans, Jefferson, and St. Bernard parishes. Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated is an international organization of college-educated women founded on the principles of sisterhood, scholarship, service, and social action. This evening, the New Orleans Alumni Chapter is here for Delta Days at the St. Bernard Parish School Board to make known to you, the board, our sorority's long-standing belief and support for equitable access to quality education for all children. Despite decades of advocacy and social rights efforts, American schools have largely been separated and unequal. Black and brown students, especially those from economically depressed households and communities, are likely to attend schools with less funding and widening resource gaps compared to their often white, wealthier counterparts. These outcomes are not new, but rather they are continuously perpetuated and rooted in national history, marred by racism and classism. Now, more than ever, school boards like St. Bernard Parish must be intentional about relying on reputable, evidence-based data for improving the state of education. During the recent 2024 legislative session, the Louisiana lawmakers passed several bills, recently signed into law by the governor, that will significantly impact public education. These new laws may be well-intended. However, we submit to you that some of them will cause hurt to public education in your parish and statewide. In addition, we are very concerned about an agreement that has been entered into by the governor's administration that will have a detrimental impact on children in St. Bernard if implemented in your public school system. We support and submit the following concerns. First, we call upon the St. Bernard Parish School Board to add a summer nutrition program site at a school in Violet to serve the children of Lower St. Bernard Parish. Food insecurity in the state of Louisiana is real. It is estimated that 234,120 children in Louisiana are food insecure. This means because they are hungry, they are less able to focus on learning. When children have enough to eat, they have better physical and mental health. They perform better academically, and they have a greater opportunity for success in life. We are concerned that there is no summer nutrition program site in the lower part of the parish, specifically in the communities of Violet and Paradis, where many lower income Black and white families reside. We understand that the nearest summer nutrition site for these children is located at a school in Miro. We also understand that this location poses transportation issues for families with one car or with there being no car. Nutritious breakfasts and lunches that the program provides is extremely important for the proper development of children, and we do not want any child to be left without food to eat. Therefore, we urge this board to reconsider its decision to not open a site in the lower community. If it is not logistically and economically feasible for this summer, we hereby request that you provide boxed lunch meals for these communities for the remainder of the summer and add a summer nutrition site in Violet next summer to serve the Lower St. Bernard Parish children. Second, we call upon the St. Bernard Parish School Board to strongly discourage the Bessie Board from providing funds for educational savings accounts. The newly passed Louisiana ESA program, called the Louisiana Gator Scholarship Fund, allows the state to give public dollars to families to pay for not only private school tuition fees, but also for tutoring, educational therapies, textbooks, curricula, dual enrollment courses, uniforms, and transportation. The law requires no reporting of accountability for the parents or for the private school beneficiaries. Research on voucher programs similar to ESAs allow the programs to lead to increased school class sizes, reduces resources, and limited educational opportunities for students in public school. This is due to shrinkage of the state's budget allocation for K-12 public schools to accommodate ballooning ESAs. Using public funding for private education can also lead to the increase of low-quality private schools and increased tuition cost, putting lower-income families at a very, very bad disadvantage. In the state of Arkansas, a similar program has led to a $1 billion deficit in public education funds. We submit that these ESAs are bad for public education, and we strongly encourage you to urge the Bessie Board to limit its funding. Third, the New Orleans Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated strongly opposes PragerU videos being played in St. Bernard Parish public schools. The news media has widely reported that Louisiana State Superintendent of Education, Cade Brumley, has established a partnership with PragerU to allow the so-called edutainment videos to be made available for public school children to watch. He considers these as being supplemental materials to social studies classes. According to the superintendent, the videos allow the state's new social studies standards called the Freedom Framework. However, it is our position that the decision to endorse using PragerU's videos in Louisiana public schools is inappropriate, insensitive, and just plain wrong. The facts are that PragerU has a history of spreading misinformation, is ahistorical, intentionally lacking historical perspectives and content that support conservative political ideology. The organization's 2023 annual report states, PragerU Kids is serving families, schools, and young Americans through edutaining Americans' content and undoing the damage of leftist teachers' unions. We support that describing teachers' unions as leftist organizations is incorrect and false, outrageously false. Ensuring that educational content is accurate, inclusive, and free from racial, ethnical, and political bias is paramount to fostering an equitable learning environment for all children. PragerU videos fail on all these fronts, and their presence in our classrooms would be detrimental to our educational mission. One glaring example is the video of a cartoon characters discussing slavery with a recreation of Frederick Douglass. The video inaccurately portrays slavery as an accepted norm until the American abolitionist movement, completely ignoring significant global effects to end slavery and minimizing the brutality and the reality of systemic racial oppression in the United States. Such misrepresentations is not just misleading, it is harmful. We have the potential to instill a skewed understanding of history by our children watching these videos, leading to racial insecurity and misunderstanding. As educators, it is your responsibility to present balanced and comprehensive information. The goal should be education, not indoctrination. We strongly request that these videos not be played in St. Bernard Parish schools. However, if you decide to allow the videos, we request that prior notice be given to every parent with the option to exclude their child or children from viewing the videos. The notice should include an explanation of the content and the viewpoint advocated by the videos so that the parents are informed before they are shown. Lastly, as an early childhood educator with over 20 years of experience, I am profoundly concerned about the recent legislative decision to reduce early childhood education funding by $24 million in Louisiana. Early childhood education is the cornerstone of our children's future. It equips children with cognitive, social, and emotional skills, leading them to academic success. Quality education is not a luxury. It is a necessity. We urge the St. Bernard Parish School Board to stand against these cuts and make early childhood education a priority, especially for children with the greatest need. Our youngest learners are our most valuable assets and certainly the future of our community. The New Orleans Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated will continue to stand against forces that erase our stories and silence our voices. Black history is American history, and it cannot and should not be misrepresented or rewritten. Indeed, fighting for equitable and inclusive education for the children of St. Bernard Parish is a good fight. And we, the members of the New Orleans Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, are ready to get into some good trouble. Thank you, thank you, thank you for allowing us time on your schedule and agenda this evening to share the educational priorities of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. Thank you again.
Thank you, Ms. Bro, and all the members of the Delta Sigma Theta membership who were able to be with us tonight. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you again, Ms. Bro, and all the members who were able to be with us tonight. Thank you. Okay. Next item on the agenda is an approval to incorporate the report of the General Committee meeting minutes of June 11, 2024 into the minutes of the June 25th, 2024 regular monthly meeting.
So moved.
There's a motion by Mr. Warner. Is there a second? There's a motion by Mr. Campbell. Any discussion on the motion? There being none, please cast your votes.
Mr. Long. Motion passes 10-0.
Thank you. Next item is an approval of the special meeting minutes of May 28, 2024, as published on June 21st, 2024. Motion by Ms. Jackson, seconded by Ms. Lemoyne. Any discussion? There being none, please cast your votes.
Motion passes 10-0.
Thank you. Next item is an approval of the regular monthly meeting minutes of May 28, 2024, as published on June 21st, 2024.
So moved.
There's a motion by Ms. White, seconded by Mr. Rodriguez. Any discussion? There being none, please cast your votes.
Motion passes 10-0.
Thank you. Next item are the personnel changes, and there are a few additional add-ons since the committee meeting that are highlighted in your folder. And if I could, is Ms. Pritchard here tonight?
Ms. Pritchard is at a 3-day lead educators training,
Okay.
so I'll be here to answer whatever questions.
Okay.
Okay. And I just want to call your attention under the administrative appointments. Chalmette Elementary, we had done the first 3 at the committee meeting, and this time at Chalmette Elementary, the new assistant principal will be Megan Lancaster. No relation to the other Lancaster on the on the minutes, by the way. She has been with us for the past 14 years at Andrew Jackson Middle School. She has led our music program and many of the other activities at the school. She's been a member of the school leadership team. She has served on the curriculum writing committees. In fact, she wrote many, many grants that we've gotten from the Jazz and Heritage Festival group. So I think she's going to do an excellent job. So we want to congratulate Ms. Lancaster as our new assistant principal at Chalmette Elementary School.
Thank you, Ms. Voce. And also, I'd like to bring your attention to one of our retirements. Mr. Kenneth, well, the only retirement, thank goodness. Mr. Kenneth Benora. We appreciate Coach Benora and all of his years with us. He's taught and coached for many, many years, and he's an awesome coach. And we're sorry that he's retiring, but we want to wish him the best retirement ever and to thank him for his many, many years of service. And happy retirement to Kenny. And also just to recognize all of our administrative appointments and to congratulate them. Some were announced at the committee meeting. Miss Woodward is going to be the new Araby Elementary principal. Sharice Clark is going to be Smith Elementary assistant principal. And William Lancaster, Andrew Jackson assistant principal. And then Megan Lancaster will be the new Chalmette Elementary assistant principal. Congratulations to each and every one of them, and we know that you will do an excellent job in your future administrative positions. Are there any questions or any other comments at this time? Mr. Warner?
I just want to make a statement, and I just want to wish Kenny Benora a long, healthy retirement. Good job, Kenny.
Are there any other discussions or questions? Okay. There being none, we will go on to the next item of the agenda. Next item is the approval of excess workers' compensation insurance. There was a recommendation by the committee, and I know that Mr. Clements is here tonight if there are any additional questions, and Mr. Fernandez is also available. Mr. Long?
I'll make a motion to approve the recommendation.
There's a motion by Mr. Long to approve the recommendation that was made at the committee, seconded by Ms. Jackson. Are there any questions of either of these gentlemen with us tonight, or any comments? Okay, there's a motion on the floor and a second. Please cast your votes.
Motion passes 10-0.
Thank you. Thank you for being with us tonight. Next item on the agenda is approval of the bid tabulation for paper, cleaning, custodial supplies for the fiscal year July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2025. There was a recommendation from the committee.
So moved.
There's a motion by Mr. Warner. Is there a second? Seconded by Ms. White. Any discussion or questions? There being none, please cast your votes.
Motion passes 10-0.
Thank you, Ms. Voce. Next item on the agenda are items to be placed on the next committee meeting agenda. Does anyone have any particular items at this time? Okay, and of course you have before the committee meeting to add any agenda items. Okay. Going on to the next item, there's a motion to enter into an executive session to discuss potential litigation against the Port of New Orleans. And before we go into executive session, I know tonight with us we have Assistant District Attorney, Mr. David Jarrell. Thank you for being with us tonight. I know you're going to probably meet us in executive session, but we did have several members of the audience who have asked to speak on this item. So at this time, we will have the individual speakers, and it is a board policy that you have 3 minutes to speak each. So we have several. So if you would, we'd appreciate your consideration on that policy. Okay, so with us tonight first, we have Robbie Showalter. Mr. Showalter, good evening. Thanks for being with us.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. Before you start the clock, I want to give a shout out to Miss Wise, because she taught me 2 years algebra. She was tough, but she formed the foundation for me that helped me go on to be a very successful businessman. I always will remember her for that. And also on the Beta Convention, when y'all got some time to talk to me, I got some stories about Miss Nushla and Mr. Waller, okay? Y'all come talk to them, okay? For the older people know who I'm talking about. All right, so I'm Robbie Showalter, and I've been in the international movement of cargo containers and liquid containers for 40 years. And I've been to almost every port in the United States, been to the ports in England and Europe, okay? The last discussion on the school, there was a lot of controversy, I understand. So I want to ask you guys to listen to me. Listen to me really hard, okay? No matter how the Port of New Orleans makes this terminal look pretty and so forth, whether you build a new school or stay where you're at, there will not be a violent community to send kids to school. You got to understand, I've been to all these ports, and what happens is areas around the port, they turn into blight, and they run down people, run away. I mean, run away. And everywhere I've been, you see those communities gone, abandoned buildings. So whether you move to school or not, it don't matter. There will not be a violent community. There will not be any students to go to those schools. So what I am asking is that everybody needs to be united with this effort. This port will destroy our community. I know firsthand. I've been to it for 40 years. Second, we have the DA's office that's full 100% against it, the parish administration, the council's 100%, our state representative is 100% fighting against this. We have the sheriff's office that's against this. I got 10,000 members of SOS that are against this. We did a poll in last year when all these elections were happening. Over 70% of the citizens of this parish are against this port. There's about 8% that's for it. That's a big number, okay, everybody? Everybody is united in this effort. It might have took some a little while, but we are completely united. I'm asking the school board to be united in this effort. We need to stop the port. This is not a good thing for St. Bernard Parish. You do not build a terminal in the middle of a neighborhood and community. It just doesn't happen. Nowhere in the United States is there a port in the middle of a community. Even with that, industrial areas, they still have the blight that expands out. So I'm asking you guys to unite with everybody else in this parish, the citizens and all the governmental representations, to fight this port. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Showalter. Next, we have Lance Rodney. Good evening.
I just want to say that this has been a long fight for some years. It hasn't just happened yesterday, but I can say wholeheartedly that we have to get back to the root cause of the problem. Had we not had our St. Bernard Port not gave way for the Port of New Orleans terminal to extend their port down here, we wouldn't be in this situation fighting so hard. I know at one time I had some issues with the port coming here and things of that nature. And now there's a lot of political power that's backing this port, and also there's some political interference with our own government, our own St. Bernard Parish government, that that have their interest, or had their interest, might I say, in making deals with the port. And some of the very same people that's fighting against the port had interest in the port, and now that the port is not being some of what candidates towards being partners or what you want to say, they're not interested in having the port here anymore. So I think the board needs to sit back and really think about going into a potential litigation for something that potentially might come here beyond our control and beyond our struggles and our litigation power. But I think you ought to not, I'm not going to say not, but I think we ought to think about what we're getting ourselves into, because I understand that the council members have put themselves in a position where they're in litigation with the port. But I'm just looking out for you guys as far as putting yourselves in that position as well, and then having to draw back and having a bad relationship with something that might potentially come here. So we want to always be in position to negotiate and have good relationships with people. So I'm just asking that you think about that, and as well as I'm just curious about what is the circumstances that you understand surrounding the port coming here, and why do you want to potentially litigate? What would be the main headliner for litigation for this port, dealing with the school board? And that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Mr. Rodney. Next, we have Stacy Raleigh Sr. Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening. How's everyone doing? Congratulations to everyone who received their awards today. And many of you know former board member. I sat where many of you are and understand the process of education. I'm just coming on board in regards to the port situation, and as Mr. Rodney spoke prior to me getting up here, I want to know what change in the process of the port coming when it was stashed for the St. Clair port area landing to now that it's going down to Violet. As we look at litigation, what is the premise of the litigation that we're going to fight with? As we know, there, Mr. Rodney stated as well, the federal government is backing a lot of the support that is coming. Just as with the Chalmette battlefield, when they moved the whole community out of Fazanville. When the federal government gets the steamrolling, they're going to steamroll. So are we going to waste good money on a bad decision filing a lawsuit in regards to that? And as Mr. Rodney said also, there was many people who were behind the port when it first came, when it was going on the St. Clair project. Who stand to gain from that port going? And now that I'm not gaining, now I'm an opponent, opposition to that port. So as he stated, think about it hard, understand what we're going to do, and we always throwing millages up here because of the fact that we need money in regards to fund things, and think about the economic impact that that port may have on St. Bernard. I'm not for it, I'm not against it, but we have to look at it, the totality of what it will bring to our parish in regards to economic value for our kids as well as our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Raleigh. Next, we have Fred Everhart. Should say Councilman Fred Everhart.
Fred Everhart.
Good evening.
Let me say this before you start the clock. Every time I come here, I'm overwhelmed on all the achievements these kids in the school board and the school and these teachers are doing with our children. It's amazing. And I watch the school board meetings all the time. It's so much growth and passion in our schools and in our systems. And I want to say thank you to our teachers and thank you to all you guys for what y'all do on setting all this up to make it to where our teachers can teach our schools, our most precious kids, our most precious gifts from God, our children. Now you can start the clock. The reason why I'm here is any litigation against the port, I'm for. I want you, but when you go in executive session and y'all discuss this, think about living behind, right in back of this port. Think about Old Violet. These people are living right on the side. And I asked all these port members up there, would you live right where this port is going? Where you are lying to our state and federal delegation on this is the perfect spot for this port because it's within our levee protection system. It's the perfect spot for this port because of the Port of New Orleans has no other jurisdiction left. Let's put it all on the line. It's the truth. And for a man from the port to say that if they don't move to school, we are going to build around the school and damned our children. That's really sad. And I lost all respect for that man. And I know who y'all talking about. Y'all know who I'm talking about. We have to look out for the health, safety, and well-being of our community and our children, our most precious gifts from God, to make sure that we give them a community to come back to. And as far as the questions that was asked, or the statements that we need to generate money, and this port would bring in a lot of money in tax revenue, is a lie. It's going to cost us money. Our infrastructure will not fit this size port in the area that they're putting it. This port needs to be downriver, further in the deeper draft river. Because if we continue to draft this river to 60 feet all the way up to Violet, I'm looking on the council side of the saltwater wedge. I know y'all all know about the saltwater wedge and everything that we had to do to try and make sure that we can provide fresh water to our community. This is only going to make it worse. They putting dams at the mouth of the river to try and stop the salt water when the river's at low stage. It's happening more frequently. I don't think these people are doing all their due diligence. All they're getting told on a state and federal level is lies from the Port of New Orleans. We need to step up and join together as a community, as elected officials, and do what is right for our community, what the people who voted us in here to do. And that's why we are spending money on litigation, because it's the will of the people. As Mr. Showalter just said, the poll was done. 70% of the voting population was against this port because we love our parish just the way it is. And we want to keep it that way. We cannot continue to stand around and being bullied and lied to by the Port of New Orleans. Stand with us. God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Everhart. Next, we have Janet Perez.
Thank you
Good
for
evening.
allowing me to speak. Fred just said something that I think sums up what I kind of wanted to convey to you guys. We love our parish. We love it just the way it is. Since I was at the last board meeting where y'all entertained comments about the port, I've been thinking a lot. And I know the parents are concerned about where their children are going to go to school. I don't want them going to school where there's a terminal, an international container terminal, nor do I think that the locations that the port is offering as a substitute is acceptable. The kids will be on a truck route. I think we have an opportunity to keep our parish just the way it is with your help. I think back to, barring COVID, 2020, before the port announced its plans, and by and large, we were a happy community. The Violet residents were happy with Smith. Could there be improvements? Of course, but that's with anything in life. I think by helping and joining in any legal challenge that we can present to the port, we can help to keep our community the way it is, the community that we love and that we appreciate and that our children can grow up in. If you move the school, you're only doing one thing, because if they're there and they go home to the same surroundings that the port is going to present, then it's only solving half the problem or changing half the problem. Please stand with the residents. Please stand with our governing officials and send a message. As far as moving the school, it's my understanding if they get that property, they're always going to have to compensate for the school. It doesn't have to be done now. If we have a single shot of standing against the behemoth of the Port of New Orleans by saying, no, we're not moving, we want to do what we can to preserve our community, we have to do it, and we have to do it as a united voice. So I'm asking, please weigh your options. I'm very mindful of what I'm asking of you, because I don't envy the decision you have to make, because no matter what, y'all are going to be facing some criticism. But please, please, let's do what we can to save our parish, to save our community, so that our children can live and learn in the community that we grew up in. Thank you very much. And I'd also like to offer my heartfelt prayers for Mr. Warner. I'm praying for a speedy recovery. He's a wonderful man, and on behalf of the library, we would like to say that we are keeping him in our prayers. So thank y'all very much.
Thank you, Ms. Perez. Okay, and last we have, but not least, we have Michael Baham. Good evening again.
You can start the clock. I'm not going to be very long. I wanted to take this opportunity to announce that one of the measures I had passed in a recent legislative session was a resolution requesting the Port of New Orleans to have a town hall meeting in each of St. Bernard's 5 council districts. This port's going to affect every facet of our community. It will tax every part of our infrastructure. I have met with elected officials from around the state who have had these big industries go into their communities, only to find out that it didn't bring the prosperity, but it did bring the strain on their infrastructure. And the communities ended up having to tax themselves in order to maintain the infrastructure being run down by the industry. Now, let me share this with you regarding that resolution that passed. I had opposition. It only passed with 57 votes. The allies of the port fought that resolution, and they grilled me on the dais. Now, why would the Port of New Orleans be against a simple resolution asking for a town hall meeting in each of St. Bernard's 5 council districts. Ask yourself, who has the interest of our community in heart? The people here or the people out there? Why are the people so excited about the port or on WWL radio? They don't live in St. Bernard. They live in other parishes. So I ask that you please take this into your consideration and protect the interest of our community. And I appreciate this opportunity to address the board again tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bayham.
Mike, thank you for coming. What I'd like you to do, I went to a meeting down there at the Violet Church, and it was the transportation department, whatever.
Mr.
And-
Bayham, I'm sorry, this is just,
I wanna-
supposed to be no discussion, just
we can talk
request.
offline, Henry.
Yeah,
Thank
I'm
you.
sorry. This is just request to appear. There's usually no discussion, unless y'all want to open
I'm
up the
sorry.
floor.
No, I
For
apologize.
discussion. Is there a motion to open floor? No? Okay. All right, thank you. And thank you to all the speakers tonight who came before us. Okay, so is there a motion to go in a
I
executive
make a
session?
motion that we go into executive session.
There's a motion by Mr. Warner. Is there a second? Seconded by Mr. Long. To go into discussion for what reason, Mr. Warner, if you would state it for the minutes?
Oh, yeah, for potential litigation against the Port of New Orleans.
Okay. For the potential litigation with the Port of New Orleans. Okay. Roll call vote on the motion, please.
Mr. Campbell.
Yes.
Ms. Harris.
Yes.
Ms. Jackson. Mr. Long.
4.
Ms. Lemoyne. Ms. Dysart.
4.
Ms. Rodney. Mr. Rodriguez.
4.
Mr. Warner.
4.
And Ms. White.
We will now go into executive session. Do we want to stay in here, or we're going to go? Is there a motion to go back into regular session and out of executive session? There's a motion by Ms. Lemoyne, seconded by Mr. Campbell. Any discussion on the motion? Please cast your votes.
Motion passes 10-0.
Is there a motion to be entertained at this time? Mr. Long.
Yes, due to our concerns for the health, safety, and welfare of our students at Smith Elementary, I'd like to move that we authorize the DA's office, through our attorney, to file an injunction against the Port of New Orleans container project.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor. Does the board wish to, is there a second? There's a second by Ms. Lemoyne. Does the board wish to join into a joint acclamation on this motion? Is anyone opposed? Ms. Rodney is opposed. Okay, so no joint acclamation, but there is a motion on the floor and a second. Okay, discussion on the motion. Okay. Ms. Rodney.
Yes. With the information I just received in our executive session, I know I'm not at privy to speak about it in great detail, but my after processing it and really thinking wholeheartedly of it, I'm not comfortable with going forward with an injunction, and this is the reason being. I am on the side of the safety of the kids at W. Smith and them having a good learning environment the best learning environment we can give. However, I don't think the injunction is speared by us and the kids. I believe it is a political move by the powers that be, and I believe the school board is being used as a chess piece. So I cannot wholeheartedly go with an injunction being filed against the Port of New Orleans.
Anyone else? Roll call vote on the motion, please.
Mr. Campbell.
4.
Ms. Harris.
4.
Ms. Jackson.
4.
Mr. Long.
4.
Ms. Lemoyne.
4.
Ms. Dysart.
4.
Ms. Rodney.
Against.
Mr. Rodriguez?
4.
Mr. Warner?
4.
And Ms. White? Okay, motion passes 9-1.
Thank you, Ms. Voce. Okay, next item on the agenda, superintendent's notes. The board has been provided with the general fund budget to actual report for May 2024.
Right.
Okay, Ms. Voce, you
And
have
the
additional?
only other thing, we are winding down most of our summer programs this week. There will be LEAP testing for the high school students who must take those tests this summer. The play from the Performing Arts Academy, Something Rotten, will be this weekend, Thursday night and Friday night, and Saturday night at 7 p.m., Sunday at 2. Please check the website for the purchase of any tickets. I hear it's really going to be a great play. There'll be a few summer programs in the month of July in terms of band camps and different sports camps and such, but the majority of the summer programs will end this Friday, so.
Thank you, Ms. Voce. And that's all the superintendent's notes, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, is there a motion to adjourn? There is a motion by Mr. Campbell. Is there a second? I will second. Seconded by Ms. Harris. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. The meeting's now adjourned. Thank you and good night.